Hi everybody, it's been a couple of days since I put up a video and I'm really sorry about that. But when I was in Cooneen, I actually had an accident in the house. I tripped and I hurt my shin very badly, and it's 2 weeks on and it's still pretty sore. The other side of that was my car needs to go to get tested and that, and there is a couple of issues, and I borrowed another car and it now has issues, so I'm currently without a car, so I can't get to location, but hopefully it will be sorted in a few days. Now and again I show you some of the equipment that I bought and stuff like that, and I've got two more products. I had three. I left one of them in a friend's house. I mentioned in another video that I got a night vision camera, and it was one of the old Sony hybrid cameras. Hybrid is a camera that has two different forms of storage, and one is the ordinary SD card, the other one is a hard drive, so it's slightly bigger than that. But all the mainstream small handy cams stopped doing night shot, and Sony was one of the companies renowned for doing the night shot. So I got one of those last cameras. Unfortunately, you can't buy them new; you have to buy them second hand. So I will show you that in another video. So hopefully, we will get good, high quality night vision shots. You know, my previous camera, which I bought, was a cheap unknown brand that does night vision, and to me it just was not cutting the mustard for videos. The zoom was very bad, the sound was pretty bad, and all in all not great quality, but it may be useful as a still camera for investigations. Put it on a tripod and put it facing some trigger objects or anything like that, and trying to capture evidence that way. But as a camera to do a video itself, it just wasn't cutting the mustard. So I hope that this new Sony camera that I have, which is new to me, will do the job. Right, for doing EVPs and voice recording, I have two of these and two other Olympus voice recorders. They're pretty simple, and you can access your data through that. Very common enough voice recorder, very good. But I decided I would go for a different type of voice recorder. I will at some stage buy a Zoom, but I seen this little voice recorder, and I thought it may help. It may be useful. I may start using it, see what the results are. But it is not a top brand. It's not a top brand voice recorder by any means. But I thought I'd give it a go anyway. So I'll show you what it is like. Inside is actually smaller than my previous voice recorders. And actually it feels quite heavy, and as you can see from the controls, there's a very large record button, which means it's easy to operate. What you don't want for paranormal investigations is something that's pretty complicated, and actually this screen lights up, so it can be seen in the dark, which this one isn't. you know, it has a digital readout, but it is not. It doesn't light up, and this one does. Right, when it comes to accessories for this this little voice recorder, you get a little clip-on microphone, so you can clip it onto your clothes like that. You get your USB for transferring your data, and also this unit charges through the USB as well. You also get adapters so that you can record your phone call conversations on your house phone, and you got a small pair of earbuds, you know. So that is that. I thought the sound quality wasn't of top quality, but actually was the volume on it was pretty loud. So I will demonstrate that. If I can get this back in the box. And leave it there. I mean, like, when it comes to paranormal investigations, a lot of the time you are in the dark, and when you're operating equipment in the dark, you do not want something complicated that you are going to be flipping around looking for buttons. So on the side there is the on and off switch. You got your forward and backwards on this. You got the volume on this and a menu button, and you just record, press record. It's on now, it's recording, and then you stop, play back, press record. It's on now, it's recording, and then you stop. 1, 2. You know, it is actually quite loud for a little small unit like this, and as I showed you earlier on, the size comparison, you know, these are a good unit, but in the dark you do not see the operation, so you need to use a torch and that, and if you have a camera in the other hand, it's just pure and utter impossible. But the way this one is laid out, it's quite good. So I will be using this along with other the other voice recorders, but I think this one is going to be, I hope, pretty successful. But I love the readout on it, the way it lights up and it can be seen in the dark. So I thought that was pretty good. When it comes to EMF detectors, this is one of the most commonly used ones. The genuine EMF detector. Some say it is too sensitive. This was the first EMF detector, and actually the first piece of paranormal equipment that I've ever bought. And you know, I used this as the primary EMF detector until I started getting other EMF detectors, and I actually use this on, you know, as a trigger object. I leave it standing up in a location rather than using this as a primary EMF detector. When I'm using this, I like to back it up with some other EMF detector as well, which is seen in another video, which was the ghost meter, and then you have the Mel meter and stuff like that. But I have another one, and when I took readings with this and readings with that, the readings did match. So you know, I haven't used it on the field of investigating yet, but it will be coming with me. And the thing about this is, it's not the best EMF detector in the world, but you know, it fits in your bag. It's not that difficult to carry around. carrying around a millimeter, you know, it's a lot bulkier, a lot heavier. It takes up a lot of space. This I always have in my bag in case I need it. So, but this actually, the design of this itself makes it possibly a hit for us. It is this unit here, and the thing I like about this one, design wise, in comparison to this, like this has got its narrow shape down here, and when you hold it, yeah, I mean, like, it is narrow, as narrow down the bottom so that you can hold it in your hand, but it's got you know, it's got corners on it like this, and it's not 100% comfortable. This one is totally rounded. It's like an old cell phone, and when you hold it in your hand, it's the shape of your hand. You got up at the top here, you got the power switch. This here also, it reads in micro Tesla, and when you turn it on, it goes to micro Tesla straight away. You can change that over to milligauss, and actually the thing about this as well is you got a little light, which is now green at the moment. Right, with the light on, it's at green. When it reaches something like 4, I think it's 4 milligauss, it goes into the red and it beeps. You can actually turn that sound off, but you can see how well the display is there, and at the bottom you have your temperature. You know, and if this is as good or better than the millimeter, I will be carrying this around in my bag as well, because of the way that it is designed and the way it is laid out. It is not overly complicated either to use. The less complicated a piece of equipment is, the better, because a lot of the time you will be using these in the dark. You also have a hold function, which means if you get a reading and you want to hold that high reading, you can press, I think it's the bottom, it's actually the side, I think. It's actually the bottom one, I think. Yeah. You can press this bottom button there, and you can hold the you can hold that reading. If you wanted to go to another investigator and show them that reading, you can hold it right there. So that is that. It's got it's a single axis with 2 sensors that are going off to the side. The other EMF detector, this one, the sensor is up on this part of the unit right here. I have gone through my analytics. I go through my analytics every morning and see how my channel is doing. And actually, way back a few months ago, during the summer, we had the Donegal International Rally 2018. And a day before the rally, I bought this bridge camera, and I had not used it in a video until the actual rally, and I done 4 videos, and those videos are the highest viewed videos on my channel. One of them has at the moment hit 11,300 and something, and it just keeps climbing. And that was, you know, that was a major milestone in my channel. You know, and you know, I have not done car videos since, because I am an exploring channel. But you know, if something comes along, I possibly will video it and that, you know. because I do know that people have been looking at those videos, and actually some people have subscribed to the channel because of those videos. You know, some people stayed, some people went when they saw the other content. But you know, when people subscribe to your channel, they should see what you are putting out there, and if they like what you're putting out there, to subscribe, you know. And I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the last short while where I gained an extra 10 subscribers. What I plan to do is, you know, in September I had done approximately 3 videos a week. This month I haven't done as many, but what I want to do is I want to go to locations where I spend a lot of time filming that location, and to put out a proper production from the content of the video, of the filming of that video. So trying to put more emphasis on quality than quantity, you know. The first of those was the Cooneen ghost house. 2 years ago I went to the Cooneen ghost house, and it was before YouTube, and what I started doing on my Facebook page was doing my own videos, and I took a step up from putting videos on Facebook to putting videos on this platform right here. And I did want to go back, but at the time I never wanted to see that place again because of the bad experiences I've had at that location. I just went in, videoed the location, spoke about the history, and when I was in there, I was only in there about 20 minutes, experienced footsteps above me when there was nobody there, on the floorboards upstairs, a horrible smell of sulphur, and a couple of miles outside 5 Mile Town I was violently sick, and I was sick for about 3 months afterwards. So it was understandable that I was very hesitant to go back there. But when I went back there, the atmosphere was completely different that day. I landed at the location at 4 o'clock. I was invited by Carrickburg's paranormal group, and I had got down there at 4 o'clock. The investigation was starting about 8 o'clock that evening, so I wanted to get down early to put in a video for you guys, you know. And every so often I would take a break. I would video and then take a break. Went down to the car about 6 o'clock to take a break from the location and that, and then we had the investigation at about 8 o'clock, when the paranormal researchers had arrived. Now at the time I was videoing, done a spirit box. Very often when I do a spirit box, right there and then I don't hear what is coming up on it, and it's sometimes when I get home is when the evidence got picked up. So you know, we had evidence of a child being there. Actually there was other evidence of a dog, which I found quite strange. A growl came up on a spirit box belonged to one of the researchers. I didn't realise until I got home that I had barking through my spirit box as well, and it wasn't glitches in the static, it was actually, you could hear barking. Also picked up the voice of a child, 3 separate occasions where the child went whoops. So that was pretty interesting, but it was a completely different atmosphere, you know. There was still, I picked up audio of footsteps upstairs to stop me scaring the life out of myself. I says it possibly could be wind. I only say these things sometimes to make myself less scared, because when you try and think of logical explanations straight away, you try to cancel out the fear. But the truth of the matter was, later on that night, there was a heavy frost. So how could there be wind? There was no wind, you know. So, but it was a very interesting. It was a very interesting time at the location. We used EMF detectors. They weren't picking up very much, but the evidence that we did pick up was actually draining batteries. The K2s started going out. You know, my lights, the equipment belonged to the paranormal researchers. They started suffering a colossal battery drainage. And you know, I captured on camera my thermal imaging camera going from full battery to almost zero in just over 2 minutes. You know, and that is evidence of it itself. Now the question is, what is happening when these drainages occurs? Is another mystery, you know. And it's one of these things that science hasn't been able to get to the bottom of, but it's one of these paranormal events that we don't fully understand. There are theories that spirits drain energy from batteries to manifest themselves, or build up the energy to do certain things. So it was you know, it was a pretty exciting night that way, and you know, I still questioned whether I had charged all my batteries, but you know, at the end of the day, I knew, you know, from the first time I went to this location that it was renowned for draining batteries. And also I've seen the Northern Ireland's Greatest Haunts documentary. They had problems with batteries, so the day before I went down to the location, I made sure every single battery was full and charged. So that was pretty puzzling and pretty frustrating, but you know, at the end of the day, those battery drainages was evidence in itself, you know. People have been asking me about my supposedly haunted doll, and you know, funny enough, when I woke up this morning, she had made breakfast for me. No, I'm only joking. Nothing has happened in the house at the moment. I did get in contact with the previous owner, and they had mentioned that the K2 had gone off around the doll, and the information that they got, which was the owner's name was Molly, and she died, and she loved the doll and she was attached to it, and that too much information to be whispered in a person's ear from the spirits, but they said they were sensitive, so possibly it makes sense. Only time will tell, folks, but you know, at the moment nothing has happened. But having said that, I haven't done any experiments. I've had the K2 and I've had other EMF detectors around the doll, and nothing has happened so far. So you know, maybe in time something will happen, we don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I was hoping sometime soon I would start doing live streams. I might do one once a week possibly, so you know, I have been on other people's live streams and it's been pretty good. Ghost Findings TV do a great live stream. The other live stream that I follow is Irish Whiskey Paranormal, and you know, when they come on, and if I'm here at the computer, I will join in, and it's always a good, it's always always very good live streams, you know. Especially Ghost Findings TV. I used to enjoy, especially at weekends when there's nothing to do, to join in on the chat, and you know, it's good to get involved and interact with other people. So I might start doing that soon, hopefully. Some time ago, I done a paranormal investigation in Cumber House with a Peninsula paranormal group. I was videoing at the same time as Peninsula was doing a live stream, and when I got home, I had taken that card out and used it in another camera, and when I put it into the other camera, it deleted the folder that opened the footage, so I couldn't get the actual footage. So unfortunately I lost that. But before I did lose it, I did send a piece of evidence to them, and I actually have that piece of evidence now. It is one of the paranormal investigators using the Ghost Meter Pro in the hallway, and they, had picked up, they had picked up communications there in the hallway. Now the interesting part of this was Ronnie, who was doing the live stream, had gone into the room beside the hallway to get another piece of equipment, because we were on the way down to out to the stables. When he came out, and as he was going out the door, my camera was on the investigator in the hallway with the Ghost Meter Pro. She was standing opposite a chair in the hallway, and just as Ronnie came out and says, "Right, stables," a orb of light came from the chair and travelled about that speed right across and towards the investigator, which I thought was pretty good. And you know, before I uploaded the video, I wanted to send them that piece of footage, and that is the only piece of footage I have left, and I'm going to show that to you now.
Something different. Something different.
That's pretty interesting, because you know, there was people going in and out of that room. There was a number of different people walking around in that room, and if it was dust or a insect, that wind, that air turbulence would have caused that insect to not go in a straight line. So, you know, 9 times out of 10, insects don't travel in a straight line like that, and don't travel in a slow speed like that. So that was a pretty interesting capture, and I actually wasn't concentrating on that. I wasn't concentrating on the investigators' capture of evidence on the Ghost Meter Pro. So I wasn't expecting to catch that orb of light coming from the chair towards the investigator themselves. So that was pretty good. Every so often I like to update you on what's going on, and if anything is happening that is a little bit out of the ordinary, like regular uploads. It's been a couple of days, stuff like that. So you know, if it is more than a couple of days or out of my normal sort of upload schedule, I will just keep you informed of what is happening. I'm hoping that the problems with the vehicles are sorted soon so I can get out investigating. Halloween night, certainly I won't be going trick-or-treating. Paranormal investigators go investigating, so I'm not going to say anything more than that at the moment. So hopefully I can get a video for you on just after Halloween night, back at a location where a lot of evidence was captured, and has never failed to come up with some evidence, so I'm looking forward to that. But I am going to leave it for now, folks. I will catch you very, very soon, and massive thank you to all the people that have subscribed lately. And if you haven't seen the video on the Cooneen ghost house, go and have a look. It's it has come up with pretty interesting things, and if you watch it with headphones, all the better, because some of the audio on the camera has actually picked up some evidence as well. You can hear some footsteps, you can hear some growling, and actually I was pretty nervous about doing spirit box sessions, because sometimes filming those and editing those is pretty difficult. But I didn't put anything on, script wise. I didn't put anything script wise into the spirit box session. I just left it like I think it sounds like, whatever, and I just left it up to you guys. If you use a pair of headphones through some of these videos, you will pick up things on audio and stuff like that. Very often when people are investigating, it's the subtle small things that are captured, and sometimes the investigator and the person making the film actually misses it as well. So sometimes it's very, very difficult to go through all your footage with a pair of headphones, but very often there's a lot of audio evidence in there that is missed out, and it has happened in the past in some of my videos, and it was viewers that actually pinpointed some of those unusual happenings, So I'm going to leave it for now, folks. I will see you in the next video, and as always, be good to each other. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please leave a like on the videos that you view. It helps the channel out a lot. I am hoping to move forward very, very quickly with more good content, more paranormal investigations, some good nighttime investigations with my Sony camera. I'll see you in the next one, folks. And as always, be good to each other. Which is now green at the moment. But if I turn, when it gets to, I think, 4 milligauss, shit. Okay, the backlight is on and it's at green. When it reaches something like 4 milligauss, which it was doing a minute ago, off camera it was doing it, bastard.